The most valuable AI investment a business owner can make right now isn't a chatbot, a workflow tool, or a subscription to the latest platform. It's converting your proprietary knowledge into infrastructure that works for your business 24 hours a day without you. Every business that has been operating for more than a few years has accumulated something incredibly valuable. It's a body of knowledge that is uniquely theirs. How you solve problems, how you serve clients, how your team is trained, what makes your product or service different. That knowledge is currently buried in documents no one reads, locked in the heads of key employees, or sitting in recordings that nobody has time to watch. Expert AIOS ingests all of it and builds a private AI system your team and your clients can access through a simple interface, getting the right answers in seconds instead of waiting hours for a response from someone who might not even be available. Businesses that operationalize their knowledge will now run faster, serve more clients, and scale without adding proportional headcount. Businesses that don't will lose time to repetitive questions, inconsistent answers, and the slow leak of institutional knowledge every time a key person walks out the door. So the opportunity to build this type of solution for your business is only possible because of the advancements in AI. The window to unlock that before your competitors is open right now. This is by far the single biggest opportunity that has created so much scale for businesses. The opportunity to take your institutional knowledge and train it into a large language model from which then other services or other agents can be built on top of is an incredible opportunity. I like to start and talk about the base though. That's where every organization should begin the conversation is what's the core set of knowledge that you should begin integrating and uploading into the AI to build something that would be the most valuable to your organization. And so I like to use the example of a client that I had. This gentleman founded the DNA company and built a business where he was helping hundreds of people weekly and had thousands of clients. And he by far was in the whole sort of operation. He had a support team, but no one knew everything as well as he did. His block to scaling and serving more clients was his ability to speak with them, to connect with them. All those people were very expensive resources. The clear answer to this was to train his own LLM, a proprietary LLM, on his knowledge, his frameworks and everything. What that did was it unlocked everything that he knew. Now there was this opportunity for clients to be able to speak with this AI. It was, interestingly enough, this particular AI, we also made it sound like this individual, even the responses, like the tone of it, the manner in which he spoke, all sort of matched. We were able to dial in to try to reach the likeness of this individual so that way it wouldn't impact the client experience. But more importantly, on top of that, it's the information that was being shared. I had mentioned that this gentleman founded the DNA company, then used that experience as the foundation for which he helped people heal and just deal with some of their health problems. As a first step into their healing journey or that next step, they would get their genetic profile very specific to them. And at this time, they were using about 83 different base pairs, of which you get a few different markers. You have the opportunity to see what a client would see as their expression, a specific biomarker. And the most important thing is when you start to look at the most important gene expressions, and depending on your biomarker and any combination of them, it would actually say something about how you were best going to improve your health outcome. And a lot of times what I had found after going through this gentleman's program was that as complicated as this information was, it still was able to be reduced down to a if this then that workflow. So if the client had this type of expression for this gene in combination with this, then this is the recommendation, or this is the suggested way in which they would deal with that. What that indicated to me was that despite how complex and complicated this information was, we could train an LLM on this specific set of knowledge. And this goes for any organization. It doesn't really matter. I've also helped build other LLMs that deal with medical industry knowledge, training it on thousands and thousands, millions of public records, even private information. The whole point is that you could take the most basic information or the most complex information, and the goal of training an LLM in your own proprietary LLM is that the current LLMs that are out there like Claude or ChatGPT, you could, in theory, train these as well. However, the problem is that when you want to expand on them, when you want to disseminate that information broadly to a group of individuals like your clients or a customer base, you run into problems. A lot of these tools are built so that way you can collaborate internally. You might be able to share a link. You're completely limited on the way that people interact with that. You're also limited on whether or not you can actually charge people for that information. This particular client, the way that we built it was all gated behind an application. And so users would actually have to pay a subscription in order to gain access. And then that was like another business model all in of itself. So there's so many other things that you could do once you actually train your proprietary LLM and you build it in a certain way. If you go and you train and you do all this in Claude, you can't put those type of payment gateways. You can't then expand on it to expose it into different applications and what I would say is like different user interface. So your clients might best for them to log in somewhere and start chatting with the chatbot. Maybe you send weekly updates and you communicate with them via WhatsApp or Telegram. The AI can be used once you train the core infrastructure or the core LLM. That AI can then be used in any platform. And that's the other beauty of it, is this is the way that we do it at Lustre Labs with Expert AIOS is we're building the infrastructure that allows you to scale exponentially. There is effort involved to be able to, again, understand what is the right set of information to train first, but it's the beginning. And this is the way that you actually do it in order to scale out and build something that can reach your customers at the right moment, at the right time. Also, be able to support them in a way that is so unique and so specific to them that it beats any level of engagement or support from most support staff. A lot of times it's a generic response, but think about if your customer relies on you to keep record of their information, to know specifically these very intimate details about them. Nothing can do better than an AI at this point, because the AI will have that conversation history. It would know everything that they had asked. It will know, depending on if they upload this information, it will know everything about, in this case, had the potential to know about that person's genetic profile. And so when it gave the responses, it was based on that genetic profile. It wasn't just a generic response like you would get from ChatGPT or, again, any of these other generic AI tools. The point to make here is that when you invest in AI infrastructure, this is the kind of scale that you unlock. It makes it possible for you to reach your customers at any moment in time, give them access to you and your proprietary knowledge at any moment in time, and to treat them with so much care, so much customization that oftentimes your AI is better equipped to give them the relevant information than any other person or human could possibly. This is the power of what we build, again, at Lustre Labs with Expert AIOS, where we train a proprietary large language model or AI on all of your knowledge, all of your frameworks, and everything that you've built your business over the course of however many years or decades.